My name's Jimmy McGill, and I'm a person in long-term recovery from a 23-year drug addiction. I'm a nationally known speaker who has traveled the country and used my story to help other men and women find recovery from substance use disorder. There's so much stigma that exists around drug and alcohol treatment in the state of Florida that I decided to go figure out for myself what's going on. So we're going to Florida.
I have unfortunately spent the past 30 years addicted to crack cocaine. I made a decision to change my life by coming down to Florida and going to rehabilitation at PBRC. I listened to what the techs and the facilitators told me to do, and I started to get better. The obsession of the drugs of crack cocaine had been lifted from me. It made it so much easier for me to be open-minded and willing to go through the process of what PBRC was offering.
When we talked about, developing a program that wasn't so much focused on the bottom line, was more concerned with the well-being of the patient, some of the things that the team came up with was how we were going to put together a curriculum that allowed to have a smaller caseload per therapist. Like here at Palm Beach Recovery Center, we have 5 primary therapists plus a clinical director who carry a caseload. They do caseload groups, they do individual sessions almost every single day, and that allows the patient to, dial in on what their specific needs are. A little bit greater than some of the other places out there where, one therapist could have a caseload of 13 or more. My name is Mike Batar. I am the CEO of Palm Beach Recovery Center and one of the founding owners. Here, we're working initially on the medical side of the withdrawals and everything, getting them through that really dark period. And then for the remainder of the time they're with us, they start learning coping mechanisms and identifying the root cause of why they use. Once you identify that makes it easier once you get out back into the real world to not fall back into those old habits.
Our facility has nursing staff 24/7 to help keep our patients as comfortable as possible while they go through the detox process. A lot of patients try to stop using on their own prior to coming into treatment, and they're not ever successful. Our job is to help manage their withdrawal symptoms, to keep them comfortable, to monitor them 24 hours. We take their blood pressure, we monitor their oxygen saturations, and we're able to give them comfort medicines when the detox process becomes uncomfortable.
So one of the coolest things for me was that we don't have twin beds at PBRC. How come we have full-size beds and other treatment centers?
We want our patients to feel at home as much as possible. A lot of them have never been in treatment, don't even know what it's like to actually share a room with somebody.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So we try to make it.
Oh wow, is that memory foam?
Yeah, here, lay back.
Oh my gosh. Why would you want to be anywhere other than detox?
We try to make them as comfortable as possible.
Yeah.
So, could you imagine you've been home living in a full-size bed, having your own room, and then putting you into a twin-size bed with 4 people in a room?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
What about, does every room have like a smart TV like this one?
All the rooms have smart TVs. We have YouTube on the TVs, Netflix and stuff, so they can watch movies.
That's freaking awesome. And can I check them? And this is the bathroom?
Yes, they all have their own bathrooms, showers.
every room has a shower and a bathroom. You just don't see that in treatment centers. Like the treatment centers I went to when I was trying to get clean, we had group showers. It was like an institution. And I don't know, it's been a long time. I've been clean 10 years, so maybe centers have changed, but I haven't seen anything like this.
My name is Kristen Miller. I'm the clinical director at Palm Beach Recovery Centers. We're a detox and residential level of care in West Palm Beach, Florida. I've been here since it opens, over 6 years, and I oversee the clinical team, case management, and we also have interns from a variety of colleges. We are not in some area on a strip. We're in a community, a beautiful area in West Palm Beach where there's the water. You could literally walk to the water, big high buildings. This is by far one of the most caring places. How many places have owners that are actually at the facility every day?
Right.
You don't see that. We have that here.
When I first came up to Palm Beach Recovery Center, I was thinking beaches, pools, Florida, I'm from Colorado, man. I'm from the mountains. I'm like, yeah, I get to see the beach. The people that worked there, they cared. I mean, it was obvious they cared. The program was top notch. My first day, I was handed a big book. The classes, Sonny, all of those guys just took their time and, care for each person as an individual. All of our sobriety is different stories, but we're all in the same boat,
My name is Sarah Clersey. I'm a primary therapist here at PBRC. We do daily check-ins, so we talk with our patients every single day. That's actually one of the things that makes us different. So yeah, we do that. We make treatment plans, do assessments, anxiety, depression stuff, relapse prevention. We run group sessions. We do a lot of things. We're small. Our owners actually are involved and care and have experience in this field, whereas some other places it's just corporate or just some guy in a fancy shirt, But yeah, we just all care a lot and want the best for our patients, so.
Every holiday, we know how hard it is for people to be away from their families, especially their children. So we try to do something that'll make them feel like they're at home. We did pumpkin painting contest. We painted the birdhouses here.
When I look at this room, I get a serious vibe of serenity, meditation, soft music, the lighting. What is all this? All these beanbags?
So we're trying to give them an environment where they can heal and they can remain calm and they can go through the process of working on some of the mental health issues that don't really get addressed a lot of times in detox and residential because it's not enough time. So with not enough time.
Why the beanbags though? The beanbags give off some type of appealing vibe.
Who wouldn't want a beanbag?
I want to sit on the beanbag.
Sit on a beanbag. Get a beanbag, Timmy.
I've been to 2 AA meetings in my entire life, and they were both right before I went to PBRC. So seeing people that were successful while also being recently recovered was super inspirational. I can't speak much for other places, but I think if PBRC effectively saved my life, you know what I mean? I was on the ultimate downhill spiral.
Right as I was graduating college, I kind of went ahead and graduated to more harder drugs, and I went ahead and found myself at that point unknowingly doing fentanyl, right? And once you go ahead and start, you can't really stop, and there's no other drug that you can really use to go ahead and replace that feeling. So that's just what I became addicted to. At that point, I just continued on with what I was doing. My mom had called someone from a previous treatment center, a PHP program. They did recommend me to come over to PBRC. And my parents later that night drove down here and dropped me off. I didn't know what I was expecting at all, right? A lot of treatment centers, you're there for detox. You're there to have a place to stay. You're there for the therapy and the group sessions, right? And it was completely different when I got to PBRC, right? They still had the therapy, they still had the place to stay and the really good food and the group sessions and all of that, right? But I was actually surrounded with people who cared about me and wanted to see me recover. I was surrounded with the owners of the treatment centers, which quite honestly, you don't ever come in contact with the owners of treatment centers, right?
Would y'all have fun?
I had a wonderful
Yeah,
time.
man. Good times.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool. We made some cool content too.
I think so. I think we got some cool reels out of this. What y'all gentlemen think?
Well, I mean, I loved it, and of course we did. But you know, just getting a fellowship with you guys and staying on that path, you know,
It's fun.
to lift each other up and to see the lights come on at the treatment center with the clients.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I think we should do this again. Like go see,
think so, too.
go see other treatment centers, go see recovery houses, like, and let the public see what people are really doing to help people. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's so much misinformation out there about good centers versus bad centers.
Well, and it's a must for what we do. I mean,
Yep.
because, you know, again, we do have a voice today. And,
It's crazy.
and, you know, mothers and fathers reach out for their children or even the addict himself. And we don't want to say, oh, this place is wonderful, and we not know that, right?
Yeah, you
We
got
don't
to
do
boots
that.
on the ground.
We got to be boots on the ground and get our own perception.
I feel really comfortable about Palm Beach now because like this, I've been here multiple times. You've been here multiple times. Being this was your first time, but
Yeah.
like at this point, I've investigated. There's no contempt without prior investigation,
come
right?
on.
Like I am very comfortable sending and recommending people to go to PBRC. You know what I
Hearing
mean?
from the people who have been through it was pretty powerful for me. Because
Yeah.
it's one thing, you know, you can see that the workers at the center care, the clinicians, the therapists, the techs, and the team is great, and the facilities are great, but until you hear from the people who have actually been through the program,
Yeah.
like that's the level of testimony, like people who were like, you know, a couple months, a year and change, and like the impact that it's made at every step of the program. That's what
Yeah.
did it for me.
Yeah, and no, and that's real, you know, and like the oil trickling down, and I get to see that, witness that from the owners.
That was
who
cool.
haven't forgot the pain and where they come from.
Yeah.
You know, and who better to help someone that's broken by showing their
Yeah, what
scars.
is it? 90% of the people that work there are in recovery?
Yeah,
That's pretty wild.
90% of all the owners and then 90% of all staff are people in long-term recovery. I think that was the coolest part of the documentary for me was Emerald, when she was doing her interview. She talked about how she had been to other treatment centers
Yes.
and never met the owners. They were off on some big
Yes,
cloud,
that-
living
that
this,
was
this huge, amazing life that seems fantasy-based to people like us. But the owners of PBRC would come hang out with them, take them to recovery functions, spend time with them, check
Yeah.
on them, and then here she is with multiple years of recovery, no longer there, and still has regular contact with the owners.
Right, yeah.
Because that's what makes Next Step beautiful for me is I get to spend all my time with the men, right? Like, and I get to invest in them, and I get to be a part of their journey. They get to be a part of mine. So I know how magical that is.
Yeah, just knowing, you know, like with the owners, you know, Michael, knowing the client's names. That's a big deal for an addict like me. You know, come in broken, feeling worthless, that I have nothing to offer. And for this guy, you know, because I'm looking, right? And this
You
guy
feel like you're nobody at that point in your life.
Exactly. And then for this owner to come in and know my name and ask me how I'm doing, this is a big deal for an addict like me.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about an institution being able to live up to the reputation it wants to create, but the institution is only as good, not just as the people working for it, but the people
Come on,
at
the
the top.
oil trickling down, boy.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a beautiful metaphor because, you know, when you think about the way that knowledge and self-love and recovery gets spread outside of an institutional context, it's people who have more time helping people who have less time and growing together. And when you saw the interactions, like on and off camera, between, you know, the patients and the staff, and then the staff and the owners, and the owners and the patients, it's all part of like an
was
ecosystem
cool.
where people can actually like recover and everybody's helping each other.
Yeah.
Therapeutic value, baby.
Yeah, and they were having the clients that we got to meet. They were having fun. It wasn't like the typical institutional vibe of a center.
The whole welcome thing. When you welcome somebody, you accept them for where they're at in their life, regardless of their past. You know? And that was the beauty, man. And that was just the beauty. Like, just seeing the glow. You know, that glow's back. They have a shot today. A shot to live, not to die. You know, and that's what people need to realize, man. I know it's tough out there, and you get out there, and again, you feel worthless. You have nothing to offer, and then you don't want to go on. But you are worth saving, and that's what they stitch that in from the jump. As soon as you come through the doors, you are worth saving.
I think what was really cool for me is when we were over at one of the buildings where they were working on building more of a long-term facility. One of the guys who was working, like doing some carpentry projects over there, he had been going through the program for 4 months, and even though he wasn't licensed as a tech yet, or was working towards that supposedly, he was there doing, sweat equity, putting it in, and it was clear that it was helping him in his recovery.
It glowed.
And I think that same thing applies to the people at every step. Like, if you see him, then you see the treatment techs, then you see the therapist, then you see the owners. It's clear that wherever they're at in their recovery, whether it's time or the walls they have to knock down, the work they're doing here is helping them not just help other people, but advance in their own recovery. And that's pretty.
Yes.
So was this trip what we expected?
It was more.
Yeah, for me too.
It was more. I have, my heart is full, like just the joy of watching people that suffer from SUD and mental health. To know that this place is real, that this place I would send a loved one to. Is the main thing.
That's the ultimate question, right? So the question becomes, is this a place that I would send someone that I love and care for to? And my answer for that is absolutely. I loved it. I loved everything about it. I saw for myself. So now I can, when somebody says, well, you don't want to go to Florida because this, and this happened eons ago. Well, now there's laws and policies and practices and procedures in place that protect both the center and the individuals. And we've seen it for ourselves. My favorite part, hands down, was that you can bring your animals. You know how many people stay in the streets and don't get sober because they don't want to leave their animal?
Yeah, it's wild.
I was one of them.
Yeah, it's amazing that they have that, emotional connection there for people to be able to bring that. And, what's interesting is that as an advocate, when I tell people that I went to treatment and that was my path, even separate from any specific treatment center, it's so wild that the stigma has gotten to the level where people are saying that, treatment and as an advocate, I remember what it was like when I went to treatment and how much it changed my life. And I think that it's time for us all to have a conversation about the ways that treatment is essential for a lot of people in recovery and how it creates an environment, not just for the center, not just the program, but like a greater recovery ecosystem and how it anchors it, that you can't do without having inpatient treatment centers.
Well, again, you have to get that distance from the dope, man. I could not stop. I used against my will, and I was fortunate enough to find freedom. Again, getting some distance from the dope and the willingness. The three essentials, the three indispensables: honesty, open mind, and willingness. Everything starts with willingness. And that's why I respect each and every one of their clients. Anywhere I go, the willingness is there. It's up to staff to invest in them and build them up, to know that they are loved, that they are worthy. These abundant blessings that recovery gives.
On YouTube, I would listen to Mac Miller all the time. And one of my favorite songs goes ahead and it says the best is yet to come, right? And I think that's what I'd go ahead and tell, young me who was still trapped in her addiction at that time, is like, the best is yet to come.